Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Hammer Podcast. I know it's been a while. I've had some other things going on. I've had some people call, but they were going to come on the podcast and never did. So I might do some other stuff with a friend of mine. His name is Dan. Probably delve a little more to the political stuff. So, because a lot of stuff's happening ever since Trump became president. Let me tell you, a lot of stuff. I mean, it's just been bombarded with a whole bunch of things. But today, I want to talk about a guy by the name of Richard Geer. Yeah, right. Paul Geer. Okay. Paul Geer went to he was a teacher at the Family Foundation School. Okay. And somebody had texted me saying, hey, Paul Geer is going to court for sex offenses. And I know I talked to a bunch of people about it before, and I had no idea when, but like I said, I got updated on it, and I wanted to update you. Now, if you know this person, if you went to the Family Foundation School in Hancock, New York, and you would like to come on right now, all you have to do, let me make sure I get this correct here, text this number, 920-777-1697, and I will send you the link, and you can come on the podcast right now if you want to talk about Paul Geer. Like I said, if not, this is going to be pretty short. I'm not going to make it too long, but I wanted to show you. Oh, let me remove that ugly mug. Oh my goodness! All right, I wanted to show you the document that talks about what he's going to be, what he's charged with, and all that kind of stuff. And also, I have a little news snippet, a little news clip about Paul Geer as well. Okay. This was in Syracuse, New York, and I know that Family Foundation School is in Hancock, New York. Okay. All right. For the people that just came in, please, I'm just letting everybody know. Lily the Vixer. How you doing, Jason? Welcome back. Thank you very much. Like I said, it's been a while. I've probably got a couple more shows coming up that I'm going to be having a friend of mine come on with me. But this is about Paul Geer. If you'd like to come on, if you know Paul Geer, or if you know Paul Geer, or you had some sort of encounter with him while you were at the Family Foundation School, text the number below. I will get it on my screen here, and I will send you the links. You can come on. All right. If not, this is going to be pretty short. All right, let's get to the news clip. All right, here we go.
Children in rugs and leaving them isolated for long periods of time.
Leaving them in rugs. I had heard about that. Someone had told me in the early days of the Family Foundation School that they were wrapping them up in rugs. So here we go.
And forcing children to do physical labor. The indictment.
Now, forcing children to do physical labor, forcing them to work, yeah, but if you got to get something done, I mean, I'm not saying that this guy did the right thing, but I mean, forcing him to work. Well, if he's forcing him to work, yeah. But if he said, "Hey, I need you to go out and mow the yard," or "I need you to go out and do this," nicely. Hey, Sour Milk, how you doing? So I really can't get on board with that. But like I said, if he asked nicely, which he probably didn't. All right, here we go.
Also alleges in 1994, 2000, and 2001, Geer used these actions as a threat to persuade 3 students.
All right. If he crossed state lines, that's a felony. You can't cross state lines. That's a felony right there. That's when it becomes federal. Allegedly raped or sexually abused children, allegedly, because he's on trial. And a person, sorry to say, and I know it pisses off a lot of people, but you're innocent until proven guilty, not the other way around. And sometimes that's tough for a lot of people to swallow, but that's the way the court system works here in the United States. Coercion, 3 counts, and transporting children across state lines. So we'll see what happens.
To travel across state lines with him. On those trips, he allegedly raped or otherwise sexually abused the children. Geer is charged with 3 counts of coercion along with 3 counts of transporting.
So not only did he take them across state lines, he allegedly sexually abused them. Okay, that's an even worse felony right there. This guy's just racking them up, isn't he? All right.
Children across state lines. If you have any information about Paul Geer or the Family Foundation School, contact the FBI Albany field office.
There you go. I'm going to leave that up for about a couple of seconds here. ffstips@fbi.gov. If you have any information on Paul Geer, anything that could make his life worse, I would say. So if anybody knows anything, please let them know. All right. Okay. If not, just take a screenshot of that, back up when I'm done. And we are going to continue here.
We have details on WBNG.com.
All right. So WBNG.com. And I'm sure that's probably in New York somewhere. All right. Once again, if you would like to be on, I'm going to flip myself over here. Yes, Joker 37. Props and glad he is going to do time for all his crimes. Well, I hope so. I hope so, because if he did do the crime, he needs to do the time. Allegedly, he did the crime. Now, let's hope the court can make the right decision and make him do the time. So I'm going to show you a document that I found on the United States Attorney's Office, and it's basically a press release. I'm going to show you this. Let me remove that there. All right. And like I said, if anybody has been to the Family Foundation School and they want to come on right now, okay, text the number that's right there, and I will send you the link, because I have the number up here on my screen, so I'll see it when it comes up. All right. All right. So here is, let me go ahead and share my screen here. Well, let me get rid of that here. All right. Share my screen. All right. I hope everybody can see that. Let me go ahead and make it a little bit larger. Maybe that'll help if I make it larger here. I'm going to remove me from screen. All right. Or maybe not. Okay. Let's try it again here. Full screen. There we go. Let me take that down there. Let me hide that real quick. All right. Basically, a former Delaware County teacher indicted for coercing, transporting, and sexually abusing students. Like I said, this is from the State's Attorney's Office. The link for this is in the description. Okay? All right. Now, here we go. Paul Geer was a teacher at the Family Foundation private boarding school, which operated in Hancock, New York, from approximately 1992 until 2014. So it seemed like he was there the whole time. Paul Geer, 56, of Hancock, New York, was arraigned today, and I believe this was April. Well, no, I can't be right. All right. He was arraigned today on a federal indictment charging him with 3 counts. Oh, he was arraigned, then indicted. Now he's going to court on enticing 3 separate children to travel across state lines to engage in unlawful sexual activity, and 3 counts of transporting the children across state lines with the intent to engage in criminal sexual activity with those children. Wow. I tell you, what can you say? All right. All right. For the people that just came in, let me go ahead and put this back up. If you know of Paul Geer and you want to come on, text that number right there. It is 920-777-1697. I will get it right away, and I will send you the link if you want to talk about Paul Geer. If not, we're going to be on for just a few more minutes, okay? I just wanted to get everybody updated on what's going on. He's finally going to court. Hopefully, they're going to find him accountable. But you know how the courts are sometimes. Sometimes they don't always give you the best outcome. You know what I mean? So, all right. Now, United States Attorney Carla B. Friedman and Special Agent in charge of the New York Field Office of the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which, by the way, Kash Patel now, yes, is in charge of, and Dan Bongino is going to be deputy director. That's going to be an interesting one right there. See what they do. It's going to be fire, I'm telling you. It's going to be just carpet bombing. Get this country whipped back into shape. You know, I don't know how people are when it comes to what's been going on lately. Maybe hey, your favorite villain. Hey, if you want to come on, the number's right there. I'll text you, I'll send you the link. You can come on, talk about Paul Geer for a few minutes if you like. If you want to do that. Yes, I got it. I'm going to send it to you. Okay, there you go. All right. Well, we got some people here. Let's see. Sorry, your favorite villain, Mask Guy Johnny. How you doing? Joker 37, Lily the Vixen. Yes, it's a great day. I'm not exactly sure. Let me get this off of here real quick here. Let me see. Oh, let me remove this for a second here. Let me get back onto exit there. I'm not exactly sure. Okay. I think we have our favorite villain coming on. I'm not exactly sure how people are dealing with what's been going on. It's been going at like a warp speed. And this is actually good. This is actually good for people like this, for pieces of shit like this, because it's going to hold them accountable. If you have the right justice system, you're going to hold them accountable, and they will do the time. Not let them go after like 4 weeks or something like that, like a lot of them have been doing. So, but that's good. That's good. But anyway, like I said, it's going at a warp speed here. Hopefully something happens. That's it's a good thing, and he will be held accountable. Okay. Let me get back to this here. Read a little more. Let's see here. The indictment filed against Geer alleges that Geer was a teacher at the Family Foundation School. We knew that already. In New York, Geer imposed various disciplinary sanctions on students, which were tantamount to torture. Well, it all depends on how you define torture. I know back in the day when I was a young kid and I did something wrong, I got my ass whipped, something like that. There she is. Hello.
How are you?
Good. It's great to see you. Let me get off of there. Let me get off the full screen here. There we go. Remove that.
Yeah.
How you doing?
I kept my cam off because it's been super emotional, right?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. I heard you say that. It is a good thing. And I know I don't see a place that he doesn't get convicted. But it's been a lot,
Oh yeah, definitely. I'm glad to see it,
Yeah. I think that we're all really glad to see it,
It's a long time coming.
It is a very long time.
And hopefully after this jackass gets put in prison, a lot more of them start to fall.
I hope so. I was actually surprised that he hasn't snitched yet, to be honest. I thought that we'd already be there, just not yet, apparently.
Well, I'll tell you, with what he's charged with, and
Yeah.
and just like every other state, I mean, like I said, I'm originally from Texas. If you had a sex offense in Texas, you go to prison. If you get out of there alive, you'll be lucky. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that they are trying desperately to discredit the student body as a whole. You know, the same exact shit that they've done for the last 30 years anyway. Um, I kind of had some hope, I guess, that that there's been staff that has apologized, and I guess I was giving them too much credit, thinking that they would do the right thing, but it, it it's it's been a lot. It's been a lot, and I worry more about like I know that I've done the work to get through the trauma, but I know that not everybody has, and I worry about them because no matter it doesn't matter that it's been I left in 97. When things like this happen, it's like I'm right back to that 16-year-old girl, and like I can't seem to get out of it. And I feel for the students that haven't done the work, because I can't imagine how they feel if it's this hard for me.
Well, not a lot of people have the kind of courage that you do.
Mm,
Some people just can't hold it together. You know what I mean?
right.
So,
It's I'm curious. I'm not there yet, but I will be. Um I had a doctor's appointment this week and I have to wait for that. I'm trying to get in sooner, because now we're being told that they'll be done by Friday, which I don't see how. The prosecution is still calling witnesses, and I don't. The only way that I see them deliberating by Friday is if the defense just rests, because they know that they have no chance. The prosecution probably destroyed any defense that they had. I'm hoping. I don't know. Kind of left us in limbo though, because we expected, like, the feds and the prosecution told us that it would be 3 weeks. So a lot of us were planning for 3 weeks, which is a long time. And I felt really bad for the students that, wanted to be there for some type of closure, and so
yeah.
I started a GoFundMe and I just posted it last night. And then this morning it was, oh, well, they said they could be deliberating as soon as Friday. And I was like, well, what do you mean? Now what?
Hmm.
Because sentencing, I don't see them deliberating for very long. Just being honest. Most of the witnesses called have been either federal agents who are highly credible, or students.
And that all
Um,
depends. That all depends if how good his lawyers are, for one thing, and if he might take a plea deal.
so that I'm not an attorney, right? And I was really confused about how we could go from 3 weeks to a week. I was really confused because it was the defense that was saying that they needed 2 weeks to present that case. It wasn't the prosecutor. It was the defense saying they needed that time. So I
Hmm.
was like, well, how did we get from A to B? So that is what a friend of mine who is in law said, is that they're probably trying to tell him, like, this isn't looking good. You might want to think about X, Y, and Z. I don't know that for sure,
Right.
obviously. Um, but that's something has to have gone wrong. Well, not wrong for us, right for us, but wrong for him, in order for them to go from 3 weeks to less than a week. It's been less than a week of testimony. So it's been fun. It really is. It's so screwed up the way that they try to go about discrediting us. Um, using letters that we wrote home, which can't, like, we were conditioned to lie. We knew that if we didn't lie, we'd be punished in crazy ways. So of course we did that. It's just sick. It's not right.
And of course, being it was a troubled teen home,
Right.
they can use that. Well, that's why she's here, because she's
Right.
troubled. She's
Exactly.
mentally not, not
And
well.
it's crazy that they're trying to use, like, Facebook posts. Like, we had a group where memes, like, people posted memes, but, like, we did that to try to distract from the trauma. Like, we used humor as a way, and they're just, the way that they're doing it is just so wrong. And I guess that they're desperate, right?
Sure.
I know he did it. I know he did more than what he's been charged for. So it really, it hurts my heart for the people that are being, it's like a table topic, right? You're putting a survivor on the witness stand, and you're bringing them back to what is probably one of their worst traumas. um it's just wrong. It's just so wrong.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. If it turns out that he's not guilty, it's going to be a travesty of justice, because we all know that he is.
I'll be honest, I haven't even allowed my, like, and maybe it's because I know that, because, like, I just don't see a reality that happens in. And
Hmm.
maybe it's because I'm kind of biased, because I know for sure, like, what's happened. I can't imagine that happening. And if it does, it will be, it'll be scary.
Well, the only problem is it's a federal thing now, because we
Mhm.
cross state lines.
Mhm.
It's not state. So when he is found guilty,
Mhm.
he's going to go to a federal prison,
Mhm.
which is basically a country club.
Well, it won't be easy for him. That I know for sure. Um, but the one thing that I know is the feds have a super high conviction rate. Um, and I know, I trust the agents that got all this case together, because I know that they did their due diligence.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I have faith in the case that they built. Right, like, I know who they've talked to. Like, I understand all the ins and outs of what they've done. So I don't see him not getting convicted. Like, that isn't even something that I have allowed my brain to even venture off into, because it's just so far of a reality in my mind. I also think that it's been hard. This is the first time that, like, we're actually in a courtroom with any type of criminal um charges being held, right? The other
Right.
stuff was civil, but this, I there's a lot more attention on the troubled teen industry than there was when, like, we got out, right? When we got out, it was not a big thing, but now it's more of like a thing that people understand. Like, they've seen documentaries, they did sequester the jury. um and we've already had an alt replaced. What we weren't told why. We But it could be because they got sick. It could be a million different things, but they're not supposed to be looking into anything about the school so that they could be swayed. But I can't imagine any normal person, parent, um, not even just a parent, sitting in that courtroom and not choosing guilty. It just doesn't, it's unfathomable to me.
Well, once they hear the charges,
Hmm.
yeah. If there's any mothers or dads
Hmm.
in that jury,
Hmm.
it's going to be tough to say not guilty.
Right. And I know that the witnesses are, I think the victim number two went on the stand today after lunch, and there's no way that people can hear anybody with a soul anyway. There's no way that people can hear their stories and not empathize or know that he's guilty. Like, and obviously, like, the students or alumni, like, we understand more than most, right? So it might be a touchy subject for us, but even if I remove that experience from my life and just look at it, if I was a parent and listen to the stories that these victims are saying, that I couldn't do it, I would vote for conviction.
Yeah,
So I hope it works out.
I hope so too. Trust me, it's going to be a big relief for everybody. And then once he goes down,
Mm.
okay, next.
Well, Mike is on the witness list.
Oh, really?
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah. Mike
good.
and couple of staff members. Obviously, we don't know until they give testimony what they're really there for. But the owner, I mean, if you think about it, he can't lie, right? He's going to have to say the same thing that he's been saying the whole time, unfortunately.
Right.
I don't know why I keep thinking, sorry.
That's okay.
I mean, I can leave it, but they're going crazy because they just bark for fucking everything.
That's fine.
There's staff that is, one of them actually, one of the staff, one of the staff on the witness list has an open lawsuit right now. So I don't know. I don't know. It's
Well,
difficult.
yeah, definitely, especially the people that not only knew him or were there when he was there,
Mm.
but suffered the torture and the abuse as well.
Right. And I was listening to somebody, and I'm so grateful for people that, like you and a couple of other channels that are talking about it. And she calls it a torture school, like a torture chamber.
Yeah.
And really is the best explanation. It's better than a therapeutic boarding school, because there was no therapeutic anything. It was not therapeutic at all. If anything, it made us a lot worse than what we would have been without it.
Right. And and some of the podcasts I've done with the Family Foundation people, they've said that they'd rather go to jail than go to that place.
Absolutely. I was thinking about this recently, actually. Somebody, so I have the playlist on my channel, Breaking Code Silence, right? And somebody must have come across the one from the video that I made after you interviewed that one guy that said something totally different than, oh my goodness, quit it, than what we all were saying. And like, that's the crazy thing about this school, right?
Right.
There is no way, even, let's just say, because there were kids that were better at putting their head down and not getting into trouble, or they were better at just playing the game. Absolutely. But even those kids would tell you that they knew what a blanket and duct tape was, right?
Yeah. But
I apologize.
that's all right.
So even if you weren't, one of the children that were abused, you still knew there was abuse going on. There was
Right.
no ignoring that.
But remember, Margaret, when you came on my podcast that one time, the first time you were on, and I said, have you noticed that everybody that's coming on has had a bad time there? There's nobody that came in or went there that said they had a really good time and there was nothing wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody did, remember?
Yeah. I think that
everybody just went apeshit over. It's like, well, what do you want me to do? Say no to him?
No,
You know
no,
what I
no,
mean?
no. I don't think that at all. I think that he was sent specifically by
Right.
mhm.
And I'm sure people are smart enough to know.
Yeah.
You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah,
They're gonna look
absolutely.
at it and go, "Oh, this guy's full of shit." You know
Right,
what I mean?
because it's even listen, because you had other students that I was there with after myself and other people came on. You had two girls that came on.
Right.
They were having service issues, but they kind of said that, but you still cannot deny that there was abuse there. Even if you weren't specifically abused, you know kids were. There's no way. Those types of people, I don't know. I know that obviously the Argyros, like they're a powerful family where they live. Um, I think that Paul's arrest kind of changed a lot locally for them, um, because there was always whispers, right? There was always
Right.
people, talking about it, and it wasn't really something that they could prove, but they knew that. So I got so many messages after Paul got arrested of people that said, I always knew something was weird at that place. You know,
Yeah.
Paul's neighbor reached out to me and said, I'm so sorry that this happened. The locals, they thought that something was going on, but they thought that, the owners were such upstanding citizens that they wouldn't dare have anything to do with child abuse.
Yeah. Well, they thought wrong.
Right.
You
Oh,
know.
they did. And unfortunately, I brought this up in a live the other day. They own the newspaper. And when you own the local newspaper, you control the narrative.
Yeah.
And they've been doing it for so long that obviously once, one of the dozen lawsuits that were filed, they started to lose control of that narrative. The internet became a much more frequent thing where people could just put it into the new, a Google search and read so much history about the school. It's there. And I think that they've been having a lot of um difficulty trying to maintain that narrative because it has just gotten bigger and bigger.
Right. And if anybody doesn't know who Margaret is, she has the YouTube channel Your Favorite Villain.
Mm.
I have subscribed to you, and you come up on my feed all the time.
Yeah,
That's
I
some
know.
interesting stuff you got going on there,
No,
Margaret.
that's right. There's no shortages of pieces of
No,
shit on the internet.
that is true. That is true. They are everywhere.
I know that's right. It's strange how worlds can kind of collide where I came and I did your show, and then I did another show right around Paul was arrested. I did another interview, um and that's when I tried to approach um the staff member's wife on her live, and that just kind of took off. And I don't think I was kind of semi-retired when I went into her live. I really wasn't posting or covering many pieces of shit on the internet.
Right.
And it kind of coincided where it was like, all right, well, you don't know who I am, but you're gonna, right? Because this is literally what I do on the internet.
It's like look out, bitch, I'm coming.
Yeah. And I even tried to give grace because I was like, He might have lied to you and didn't tell you the truth about what that place." Not that I believe that, um because I don't. And I am very much in the if you did nothing, then you're complicit. I can't stress that enough. Like, if you worked at that school, I'm sorry, I just exited by accident.
Mm.
If you worked at that school for 12 years and you in no way, shape, or form did anything to fix what was right in front of you, I really don't have sympathy. Um I know that she thought that she was going to use this trial to revitalize her dying channel. I gave her a stern warning not to, because to me, like, you profited off of our abuse. You're not about to profit again.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna allow that.
She knew damn well what was going on.
Yeah,
She
100%.
knew. She knew.
100%.
There's no way
I
you could
don't
be
believe.
there's no way you could be married to somebody for that long and not know what's going on. There's just no way.
I agree. I don't think that they had to tell somebody, right?
Oh
And
yeah.
would you have not told your wife? I don't. There's no way that long. No way. There's no
Right.
way.
And what does that person do at the end of the day after they've tortured kids? They're going to go home and they're probably going to vent.
Right. Absolutely.
And
It's sick.
yeah.
It's sick. And I just feel like it's not her story to tell, right? If you are going to uh amplifying our voices or telling our stories in a respectful way is one thing. We're all for it, right? We want people to know the dangers of sending your children to a program like that. However, not if you are involved in the abuse. That's not. No,
Right.
bad idea. um Especially if you've been questioned about the school before and you whitewashed it. um no,
Well,
not.
that's what they do best. They lie.
Isn't it crazy? It's legitimately one of the craziest things to me that the school tried to instill all these, literally, like, tortured us to try to instill these values in us, right? And they
Yeah,
don't have
values.
them.
Yeah.
And they don't have them. So we've been like kinds of joking about it. We're like, now it's time for you to take your inventory, right? And they're not doing very well at it. I don't know that I would forgive, but accountability would go a really long way as far as I'm concerned. And I think that students that are stuck in the trauma pattern of it all, I really think that accountability is key. I know that, like, when my mom found out the truth, she was beside herself. And I know that she would have. I always knew that. Actually, I always knew that if she knew, she would have never left me there. I always knew that. But hearing her, sincerely apologize was so crucial to in my healing journey regarding that, right? Because for a long time you're angry and you're mad and frustrated and all the things, right?
Yeah.
And once
Definitely.
she acknowledged it, it was like a lot of that dissipated.
Well, I tell you, as a parent, sometimes it's really hard to say you're sorry. But
My,
hey, we make mistakes,
amen.
and be the bigger person and say, look,
Mhm.
this is what I thought was best.
Yeah.
It wasn't.
Mm.
I want you to. Could you forgive me? I mean, and I've had to do it many times with
Of
my kids.
course.
You know what I
I
mean?
agree. I agree. And I
So
think that I genuine, like, I know, like, in my gut, that if my mother would have never left me there if she knew um what it really was, not what they led her to believe it was, but what it actually was. Never in a million years. She would have pulled me out the next day.
right.
But they were conditioned like we were, right? Like, everybody was manipulated. The parents, the students, even the senior members, the staff, everybody was manipulated. Everyone.
Right. Now, from what I've been reading on this indictment, it says that each, like the coercion and the enticement that he did,
Hmm.
they each carry a maximum sentence of 10 years.
Hmm.
And after that, a supervised release of 5.
Hmm.
And then, of course, the transporting the children across the straight lines, which is a felony,
Hmm.
the maximum sentence is 15.
Hmm.
and of course, up to 5 years of supervision. And he's required to register as a sex offender upon his release from prison. Whether that's a lifetime register or not, I don't know.
Hmm.
But hopefully he serves them concurrently and not or consecutively, not concurrently.
I from what I understand, I'm not an attorney, but from what I understand, if he is convicted of all, he'll spend his life in prison.
Good.
Being convicted on all 6 counts.
That's where he belongs.
I agree. I don't see I don't see, I mean, when he was let out on house arrest, right? It
Yeah.
was it was devastating because unfortunately, he's never been in trouble, right? And New York has the fucking Bail Reform Act, right? Which, God, sometimes it's so counterproductive. But the man was working with children until the day he was arrested.
Yeah.
That's it's sick. Um, I do know that in his deposition that was played yesterday from 2019, um, he admits to being verbally abusive, being highly sexual in nature with minors, um, but denies the essay stuff. To me, anybody with logic and like a half a brain would
Yeah.
see that it's just a hop and a skip and a jump, right? From
Right.
one to the other. Um, he does say in one of his depositions that he should have never worked there, that he had unhealed trauma.
Oh. Oh, he's gonna play that card, huh?
Uh-huh.
Oh man.
That's their defense strategy. Wild.
I yeah, I was beaten as a child, so I'm all screwed up in the head. That's why I did it.
But to me, like, if that was, I mean, I'm not in any way, shape, or form saying that I understands being, and it's not, this isn't a one time, this wasn't an oops, I'm sorry. No, this was an everyday occurrence. Multiple hundreds of children. After he got arrested, there were other students that disclosed. So
Yeah.
so it wasn't just a one time thing. And I'm sorry, but as an adult, which he was an adult, right, while working at the school, um it's your job to work on whatever trauma that you may have so that you don't go around hurting other people. And in this case, we were children, right? So, like,
Right.
what more can you do?
Do you remember what position he was? What he was? He a choir director, or was he just a
Yes,
oh, he was.
he was the choir director. He was the church choir director. He was my family leader for a little over a year. I got moved into a new family once family four was created, because the school was expanding, so they had to create another family. So he was like, when we were at table topics, he led those table topics in my family.
Oh,
I know in one of the articles it says that that he was involved in disciplinary, and that I'm imagining that's what they're referring to, because one of your responsibilities as a family leader was that they decided the punishments, they decided everything about that family. You know what I mean?
right.
So
Okay.
I don't, the choir, the chorus is the reason that they hit it, right? Because the chorus was the moneymaker. It's unfortunate that Jan Charipko is not here, because in his deposition he says that he knew and he told X, Y, and Z. Coincidentally, those people are no longer here either. to corroborate that. So, and he just died in June, I think he died, Jan. But in his deposition, he admits it. He admits that he knew. Um, it's just really shitty. I can't. It's but that was he was like there was certain things programs that the school had that brought in other students, right? That chorus is what enticed parents to think that this was this good place,
Well,
right?
yeah. They show you all. They show you all the best of
Mm-hmm.
what they have to offer, and the rest they keep concealed.
Right. It's terrible. I can't imagine um living with it. Like I don't know how to explain it, but I always felt better after I was holding on to something that I needed to work through, like myself, right? I
Right.
always felt better when I would get that stuff out, right? Like consider a fourth step, right? Like a fourth step in any 12-step program, like you're getting all that shit out so that you could feel better. And I don't know how these people have for fucking 30 years held on to what they've done. I don't know how they live with themselves. The
Well,
only thing that I can, like, they don't have a conscience. Like all of the things that they told us they were not.
yeah, they
And
had
they were just
no
cult
remorse,
members.
no
Right.
remorse at all.
Right. It's
You know.
unfortunate. It really is, because the damage that they've caused, like, some families are still really broken. A lot of families don't have, their kid anymore.
Yeah.
And like, how is that not something? It's not one student that's died. The number of students that have passed away from that school, the ratio is just crazy. That's that
Staggering.
right. Like that's not something to just blink at. These lives were ruined because of this place.
You know. It almost seems like they took absolute pleasure in inflicting,
Paul did
almost like a
100%. Mm-hmm.
sadomasochistic type of person. You know what I
Yep,
mean?
Paul did 100%, and I said that in my um when he was arrested. The feds set up like a tip line so that students could send in statements and such, and that they quoted it at his hearing. They said, like I said, he got off on the power
Yeah.
that he got. Like it put him, like it made him feel superior, like by enforcing the rules in a like sadistic. That like that's, I think that might even be the word that I used. Like he got off
A sadist.
on
Yeah.
right. And it's sick, and I'm sorry, but like people like that should not have access to children at all.
Yeah. And this is going to sound sick, but when you have people up there testifying about what he did to him, I'm sure he's going to get a little immense pleasure out of listening to his crimes over. You know what I mean? It's like that guy that goes back to the after
Mm,
he after he commits a crime, goes back, either he
mm.
videotapes it or keeps a piece of clothing and goes back.
Trophies.
Trophies, yes,
Hmm.
just to listen to it one more time, just to kind of, which is fucking sick. Sorry.
Sick. It
Yes.
is. No, it is sick. It's absolutely sick.
Yeah, and dogs like that need to be put down.
I agree. I agree. I can't say what I want to say, but I do agree. They are legitimately combing any of our platforms. They know which ones of us are vocal and which ones aren't.
Yeah.
And they are combing, looking for any way to discredit the student body. And it's just like, aren't we supposed to believe victims? I would believe one victim, right?
Hmm.
Like, never mind Hundreds of victims.
Thing is, though, I've always heard, like I said, I'm not a lawyer either, but I've heard from other lawyers. It's just, eyewitness testimony is not reliable.
Mm.
Well, I maybe in certain cases, yes, but it's in a lot of cases it is, I believe.
How many see, but how many before it becomes a corroborating witness?
Right.
Like how many students have to say the exact same things in different time periods, right? Because there was different eras of the school. The 80s, the 90s, and the 2000s were very different eras for the school in general. Like,
and it's not like they all lived in the same city. You know what I mean? They came from different towns, and there's no way they would all been able to get together in a room and say, okay, this is what we want to say. You know what I mean? Margaret probably got cut off. See if she comes back. Unless she let's see, I don't know what happened to her. Sure, she'll be back. Not all of them lived in the same city.
sorry,
That's
my
okay.
network just fucked. I had to switch it. I didn't
But
hear what you said.
I was saying that a lot of these kids didn't live in the same city. They all lived in different parts of New York, and maybe some of them lived outside of New York State. So not all of them got into this room and said, okay, this is what we're going to say.
Absolutely not.
So when you hear these people saying not exactly the same story, but pretty damn close to the exact same story, from people who have been there in different times, like one may have been there in 94, one in 2008, and they're all corroborating.
Absolutely.
There's
How
no
many
way
of
you
us
could
have
say
you interviewed?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right. And how many of us have said the same things? That has to mean something.
Everybody has
Right.
said the same thing.
It has to mean something.
The only thing that was different were some people that worked there that didn't work there at the time they were there. But other than that, the torture, the abuse, everything that was going on, everything was exactly the same.
Isn't that crazy? How and it's I call people that aren't like in our specific survivor community, like outsiders. And it's not like to be offensive. It's just that a lot of times people can't understand. Like people can empathize, right?
Sure.
You could feel sorry or relate to this, that, the other thing. But as far as being stripped, literally of everything, right? I just posted a video when I was reading the newer article, right? And when I pulled that picture out in my live today, they made me cut my hair. They made me do that. So like looking at the picture of me and my mom, like it's not just a reminder of my confirmation, right? It's a reminder that they cut my hair. Why? Because they thought I was too confident, right? Like, and so it's things that like only people that have been there would understand, right? Because a normal person would just be like, what the fuck, that's so fucked up. But they don't understand the lengths that they went to in order to break down your spirit.
Yeah, that's the first thing. I've said that to a lot of people that have come on, not just from Family Foundation, but from these other troubled teen homes as well. That's how they control you.
Yep.
They break you. They have to break you and break your will.
Right.
Once they've done that, they got you.
So like, where's the therapy part though? Right? Because I could kind of
the therapy comes afterwards once you're gone.
Exactly. Right. That's exactly what I'm saying. And attack therapy now, obviously, 25 years later, there's so much more research there, right? But attack therapy has never been effective. So like where's the therapy here? Because there is no therapy. What y'all do is you break people and then you don't rebuild them. Right? And then we're all so socially fucked up when we leave there. I think I said this when I interviewed with you, and it's written more about in my book, because the entire 18 months I was there, I was not allowed to speak to boys. I was on blackout with boys the
Oh,
entirety of my stay while I was 16 to 18. So what do you think that did as far as like me learning how to have healthy interactions with men, right? It was counterproductive because I didn't learn that when I was supposed to. I sought unhealthy relationships because that's where I was comfortable. So all of us, I would probably venture and say most of us, let me say most of us, have anxiety, like in crowds and around people. That all stems back to the school.
but you have to understand one thing, Margaret. They didn't give a shit about that. They didn't give a shit about your well-being. There's only one thing they cared about.
Mm,
How much money are they going to sap out of your parents?
wild.
That's it. Money just makes people do some really stupid things, you know.
I
And
don't know.
once they get a taste of it, they want more and more. Oh, by the way, Margaret, you said you had a book?
Yeah, it's not done yet. It will be
Oh,
soon.
okay.
It
Well,
will
let
be
me
soon.
know. But
It's
I'm gonna.
pretty much written. I've just been editing, and I really wanted to finish it on the 1 year anniversary from my mom passing. I just didn't get to it.
Okay.
It's been a crazy 2 years, I guess, right? When did I interview with you?
At
In
least, yeah, about 2 years.
2022. Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot has happened in that 2 years. Um, so I've been super distracted, but then my mom passed away, and my siblings are still super young. So I've been in Jersey over a year now, trying to
Oh,
help them get to like their new normal. My sister is,
got out of New York, huh?
well, no, I'm in Jersey, and then I'm going back to Florida where I came from because it is too fucking cold up here. I don't know what I'm gonna do in Albany. I'm gonna be freezing my ass off.
We have Grace Cole. Hi, Grace. How you doing?
Grace
Yeah,
is
she's
there.
in the chat. She's in the chat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Grace
Yeah.
is at the trial. I was talking to her actually before I came in here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
She did an interview with me.
yeah, I
So
know. Grace is good people. Grace is good people. She's also working on the docu. Oh, so are you, right? He contacted you, the producer.
yes, yes, he did.
Good. I'm glad.
Yep.
I'm glad.
He wanted to he says, how many of those interviews do you have?
Mm-hmm.
I
He's good
told him,
people. He's
and he
been
goes,
really
could
good.
I? Well, he wanted permission to use them. I said, yeah, go
Mm-hmm.
ahead, use them.
Yeah,
You
he's
know?
been really good. Um, he's been really good. He showed me like the trailer type thing.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, it's. I know it's a good thing, right? I know that it's
Am I in
good.
the trailer? Am I in the trailer?
I don't remember. It's pretty long. It's like 15
Eh?
minutes long.
Oh man.
Um, but
Okay.
it's hard. It's crazy to be so um you think that you're so far removed from being emotional about it, right? And
Yeah.
I was fine for your interview, right? I've done interviews and been perfectly fine, not emotional. But since this big stuff, and it's a good thing, right? I really don't see him getting anywhere, but it still brings up a lot of stuff.
Well, at least it'll be out there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So for
Mhm.
people to see. So
I just want to look him in his face when he's convicted. That's what I want to do.
yes. Which, by the way, if you're watching that, going on, just you kind of keep me abreast on what's going on. Maybe we can do something for his
Yeah, I'm heading up there.
going to
Grace is there
prison.
now. Grace is there.
Oh,
Um I was trying
Really,
to coordinate with
maybe
her. Um,
we need to get
because
together and have both of you on, or
yeah,
whoever was
she's
there.
there. She's super. Grace is scared. She doesn't want to say anything that she's not supposed to, so she's been
Sure,
super cautious, you know. And I get
understandable,
100%.
understandable.
None of us want to be the one to
To get
to
him off
give
on a
it
technicality or something like
exactly,
that. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
And we've been super cautious about it.
Okay.
It is what it is. I don't know, man, Sky Johnny. Sorry, I was ignoring the chat. I'm having that. I will say, I normally don't have um this much trouble concentrating. I guess you could say, but I'm so distracted in my mind that I go like left. You know, it
Right.
hasn't been super easy. Yeah, Grace is in the chat. She's to the people that are in the chat. Grace is a student as well.
Yeah, definitely. Well, like I said, just
A
keep
couple
me
of us pop in here.
yeah. Be Kind's in here. London
Hmm.
Bridge,
Hmm.
Grace, Gigi. So yeah, there's a bunch of people in here today. Um,
Yeah.
like I said, for everyone there, please subscribe to the channel. I'm on Rumble now, so you can actually I'm streaming on both of them right now. So if you're on Rumble, just look up the Hammer Podcast. It's on there, and check out Margaret's YouTube channel. My favorite, your favorite villain. Yeah, definitely. Oh, you're gonna love it. I laugh so much when you're it's just great. The drama, I love the drama. It is awesome.
Being
You know,
courteous.
yes.
I don't. I don't. I.
I love how
But I do
she's just
appreciate
so
you
she's just all
wanted to.
wound up tight and just talking as loud as she can, and you're just like, oh, really? All right. It's like just cool as a cucumber, you know. And that just I'm sure that just gets her.
Thank
So
you. I hope you have a good night and seated.
okay.
My internet. I can't catch a break today. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay. I said I appreciate you and I will keep you updated.
All right. Well,
What's up with
you
my
have
internet? So I hope you right and thank you again.
you're welcome. We'll talk to you later. All right. So I want to thank Margaret for coming on. Like I said, go subscribe to her channel, Your Favorite Villain. She's great. She's great. So but like I said, that's what's going on with Paul Geer. And thanks to everybody. And like I said, Grace, if you're in the chat, I said maybe we should once all this is over, then we can come in and update everybody on what happened and all that kind of stuff. That would be awesome. All right. So everybody in the chat, thank you for being here and listening. It was nice to have Margaret on again. She is a wonderful person. I really respect her. All right. So for the Hammer Podcast, I'm Jason. You take care of yourself. You take care of each other. And we'll see you in the next podcast. Like I said, I have somebody coming on for maybe a couple of shows. His name is Dan. Doesn't like to show his face. So you're just going to be hearing his voice. But we got a couple of things that we want to discuss. If you're into the political thing, whether you're left or right or center or whatever you are, just, it's going to be a good time. All right. So everybody have a wonderful evening. We'll see you next time. All right. Okay. Let me see. How in the world can I get out of here? Okay. We'll see you.